Hey, buddy. Hope you guys doing all right. So, I heard Joe Rogan yesterday on his his show. There's something he brought up that I felt resonated with me, or I felt like he might have been referring to me. So I just wanted to address it. It has to do with narcissism, and he talked. I mean, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of people who are worrying about like not fitting in and like having friends and like essentially feeling getting sad and depressed because they don't have any friends in their life. Like he was calling that person a narcissist. And because I've recently been sharing information about how, what happened with me and my friends and how I feel like I have abandonment issues and this and that. And this is like stuff that's led me to, feeling very sad about it's part of it. That's not the main factor. I don't think when you look at somebody's life and if they're in a depressive state, like it doesn't just stem from one spot. Now, there may be one spot that's like the root cause of like the main amount of pain, like on an intensity level, but I think there's a lot of things that are contributing to an overall state of being. So, like narrowing it down to just one thing, I don't think it's that simple. I think it's a multitude of things, but it can't, like for drug addicts, like there's a lot of things that happen in your life, but if you change like your drug addiction like that, if you were to change that one thing in a drug addict's life, that's going to be a huge thing that's going to change a lot of other things in their life. It wasn't just the drugs that was fucking them up, but that was like the catalyst for a lot of other bad things to happen. And it doesn't happen with everybody, because you can still be a drug addict and function and do shit and be even a good person for the rest of the world. um, but you can also go the other way. Like you can end up stealing shit and fucking hurting people and even killing people just to get your fucking high or your fix, and be nothing but essentially a nuisance or an actual destroyer or problem to other people. If you allow that part of yourself to fucking go wild and evil and all that shit. Anyway, I'm getting a little off topic here. So again, I felt like Joe Rogan was essentially calling me, and he did it in kind of a low key way. Like he said it with some respect. He was like, yeah, but he was just smart. I like the way he thinks, because with certain things, not everything, with certain things, I do respect Joe has. And he's got a good amount of information and emotional understanding to know that, like, to tell somebody that, like, if that person is that, and like that's why they're sad and depressed, let's say that his thing is true. Like, I mean that he is talking about me. Let's say that I am a hardcore narcissist, and the reason why I'm so sad and depressed and down all the time is because I'm so fucking obsessed with myself and the fact that I have like that I don't fit in and I have no friends and I have none of these things, and I'm 38, living my like that's all just because I'm like so obsessed with wanting to be worth more and having all these like friends in a life and all this stuff that you could feel good about and fulfill you and da da da. And it's like, let's just say so that he's right. The one thing about Joe that I like is that if that were true, from his, words, his approach, he has enough decency and respect inside of himself to not be direct with sharing that information or his opinion with somebody, because he knows that that person would probably take that opinion, which is obvious because the person's already got issues with not fitting in. Like that opinion would probably fuck that person up even more. So it's like, what good does that do? Just being straight up and telling motherfucker like, this is your issue, and this is what this is why you're hurting, and I'm just telling you this, and it's gonna just continue to perpetuate your pain because this is exactly why you're hurting. You don't know how to deal with it. Like he at least knows, he's aware enough, and has good enough goodness in his heart not to want to do that to somebody, because he knows it's just gonna do nothing but hurt them and probably send them into an even darker and deeper depression. And I could be wrong. He could be talking about somebody else in his life, and maybe he is. But I just wanted to, from my own place, because it resonated deeply within me, because I have been sharing this topic specifically these past couple weeks, especially, and it's a very topic I have a lot of experience in. So I want to speak on it and just say, from my experience, first of all, I hope that none of you guys have to go through what the fuck I've been through recently. Like the state of being, the energetic place, the emotional place that I had been in is nothing I would want anybody to ever fucking feel. It is the most like bleak, like hollow, hopeless, dark, fucking like, but also like filled with like all these other doubts and fears and like negative perspectives of myself, while also having this fucking crazy duty, which sometimes turns into a burden, but it's really a duty that I should be more grateful, because to serve is a true privilege and an honor. And if that's true and that's how you really feel about it, then you shouldn't be feeling bad and ooh, poor me, pity, pity, pity. That does happen sometimes, but that's part of the process to heal, to to go through the transmutation. Like, there's no skipping steps. You got to go through it. Go through it. You can't really, there's things you can't deviate in life. You can't jump steps. You do, you're going to get fucked up and end up having to go through it some other type of way. So, or if you do, it's going to end up fucking up something else in the long run because you didn't do it the right way. Like, there's a reason why there's an order of operations. Like, there's certain steps need to be taken, and for the necessary steps. There's certain steps that are put into places and people include for not essential reasons, and those aren't steps you need to take, but the steps that need to be taken, like that we've identified as being absolutely essential to a process and to reaching that high level of success and giving yourself the highest probability of success. These steps, I don't feel it's good to skip, and you can't even really skip them. It's like skipping lessons. Like, you can't do this shit. Like, you can choose to cheat and lie and get ahead in life, but you're really not, like, you may be getting ahead in certain areas, but you're actually falling back in other areas, if that makes sense. That's why I feel like you can't really skip steps. Like, one way or another, that shit's gonna come back at you. So anyway, I just for Joe Rogan, just to think about this, man. Like, first of all, like, I don't want you to feel those feelings because they were fucking just shit I can't even explain to you guys, but you'd have to feel it to know what that feels like. But I just don't, I hope you don't feel that way, because it's beyond all that. Let me just point, like, so because I've chosen to spend a good deal of my life literally, like, speaking and working on ways to help starving children is in itself, like, proof that I've chosen to spend, like, part of narcissism is, like, just focusing on yourself. And it's like, I've shown you guys proof of me spending a lot of time and effort literally just speaking and working to help out other human beings. So even if I am, and I think we all have a little bit of everything, so there is probably a little bit, not a good deal, but a little bit, and maybe in the past I had a lot more, but there's a little bit of narcissism inside of myself, a little bit. I also know, like, the fact that, I mean, I call it a fact, but I feel like I'm a pretty good looking dude, and, like, I'm in pretty good shape, and, like, that doesn't really mean shit to me, though. Like, a real narcissist is gonna, like feel good about looking good. Like I remember when I had a truck, and, like, I had a buddy who was like, I don't know why you're depressed, bro. You got a truck and all this shit. And I'm looking at him like, it's like, I could tell, like, the fact that he just said those words, like, to me, it's like, I could try to explain it to you, but if you're already in the mindset to where you don't even know why somebody would be depressed if they have a vehicle, like, if that's the way you're thinking, then it's going to be hard for me to relay to you where I'm at if you're in the mindset of, like, thinking that somebody shouldn't be depressed because they have a nice car or a nice vehicle. So, it's hard for me to relate to people that, I mean, there's certain things that people can't relate to because they don't have a connection. They haven't really experienced anything in that particular area. So it kind of just falls on deaf ears. Anyway, I'm getting a little off of topic here. Again, I'm just trying to share with you guys, why I feel Joe Rogan is mistaken if he thinks that's myself, and to also just to try to educate him a little bit on the fact that, I call it a fact because these are the way I see it. These are truths that I see, so to me they're facts. But if you want to look at, like, narcissism, Joe Rogan is somebody who it's very unique. He has the most popular fucking podcast, hands down. Sean Ryan's right there, but it's like Joe Rogan, like, is much more worldwide known than Sean Ryan or any other podcaster for that matter. Like, maybe Alex Jones is kind of there, but Joe Rogan is like I feel like internationally, notoriously, like, well known all over the place. If he chose to, like, he could save lives, and I do think he has saved lives in the past. Like, his energy's changed over the years, though. Like, he's not the same Joe that he was 5 years ago. It's sad too. Like, I've been watching him lately, and, like, there's something that's changing in Joe. Like, he's becoming more aggressive. He's giving off more of, like, a red, like raw, angry, like, very angry vibe, as opposed to when he used to be very cool and chill, and, like, you'd hardly ever see him, like, get angry or lose his temper, or, like, get into a place to where I'm feeling him giving off a lot of toxic energy. Like, that's I even see in his face sometimes. It looks like he's just worn out with, like, like, stress, and, like he just doesn't know what to do with himself. Like, that's just what I see coming off his face sometimes. So he's changed, man. And, he does, last time I checked, he's worth over $140 million. And there's kids starving to death every single day because they don't have enough food in their bellies. And when I say these things, I'm not asking people to like give everything or drop everything in their life and devote themselves completely to the kids. If that's what they want to do, fucking go for it, dude. My hat's off to you. But no, I'm more about we all just doing a little bit and we can do a lot. If we all do a little bit together, that's a lot. So if he were to even devote one day out of the week to just helping solve the Earth's problems, that in itself could change the whole fucking world, because that would create a collective, a space with a lot of power and influence because of his podcast and the channel and the power that's associated with it to that problem, to that endeavor, which would collectively give us a ton of good cosmic fucking allowance or karma or energy, and which would give us more of a right to receive help from other extraterrestrials that are above us, that are benevolent, that are looking down on humanity, wanting to help us out, but knowing that they can't until we reach a certain point of our own evolution. And if Joe or other humans or other people were to take that upon themselves to be that catalyst for humanity, much like I have and I'm doing the best that I can from the spot that I am, and I encourage everybody to do the same thing, then that would be groundbreaking. It'd be huge in its own ability to do whatever it can within itself, also as an example for other podcasters to do the same thing. And I feel like good about guaranteeing, if the intent is true and we are committed and we continue on in that way, I feel like 99.9% sure we will find the solutions that we need if we put in the energy and the effort to seek. Seek and ye shall find. I know what I found when I chose to, I didn't know how to do any of this shit. I was like, how do I solve this problem here on humanity, with humanity? I had no fucking clue how to do it. But I knew I had an intent. I knew I had a desire. I knew that there were others that knew enough about the reality to know that things can be changed. Like the current status quo that's being shared with the world on how to heal, how to change shit, how this energy works, what's really important. All that shit is largely wrong. So that's an issue right there. Let's at least start with the fact that we can present a space and we can do our best to share it with the mainstream world of the actual truth, so we know what actually works, and we can spread and expose the lies that are keeping people from fucking raising their vibrations. And it has largely to do with, the mainstream religion here in America, Christianity, I do think has been manipulated in such a way to keep people from expanding and growing within their imaginations and within their heart spaces too. Christianity, the modern Christianity, I'm gonna get into this deeper. It's really fucking tricky because they've devised it to make it look like something that's super good and super awesome and fucking benevolent and positive and all these types of things. And there are elements of it that are that. However, I think it's largely being used as a handicap or a governor to keep people from doing more. Because as long as they know they go to church one day a week and they listen to their pastors and they pray and they do all these things that everybody else is doing, following the trend, the status quo, what's acceptable by the masses, in doing so, there is some type of a fulfillment that they're doing the right thing because everybody else is doing it. If everybody else is doing it, shit, it must be the right thing, right? No. It's not the right. Just because everybody's killing things or stealing doesn't mean it's right to steal. No, it just means that everybody's lost their fucking good common senses and they've chosen to go along with the easy way of doing shit instead of sitting still, standing the fuck up for what you know is right, and not following the masses as they lose control. So, and that's exactly what I would, if I was the enemy, that's exactly what I would want people doing, is getting lost in their own fucking delusional thinking that they know what is right and that they're actually doing what is right, or at least that if everybody else is doing it, then it must be the right thing. To perpetuate that thought pattern and then to present a place in a situation, an opportunity to where that thought pattern can flourish, and then to maybe ignite a few things to help send it off its way. And then after you've ignited it, you just let it flourish and propagate the way that it does from the own people's free will. That's how, if I were to be an evil fucking manipulator or magician or spellcaster, that's what I would do. And then from there, you literally have the people perpetuating a ton of low vibrational energy that you can use as your own fuel to strengthen your own power and to continue to perpetuate your own dominance over a particular area. And this is also why, Joe Rogan and them, again, with the truth and what's really going on and diving into Christianity and looking at the specs and looking at things from an energetic, scientific standpoint. because we now can literally detect and wait. We know that love changes environments. It is an all-powerful force that can literally change the trajectory of an environment. So the more love there is in an area or a moment or a person, the more power they have to move things in this universe, like in a good, loving way. The same is true with evilness or hate. So from that standpoint, we know that whatever your action is, like the more love it has, the more power and love you're going to have. This is why doing things like feeding starving children, like working on that operation from an energetic standpoint, it's the most powerful thing we can do to perform the action of love and to actually help out other people where help is most needed. It's that area. So yeah, and then again, just going back to the main point to why I made this video was to essentially say that I've been lonely. That's why I've been so sad and depressed, is because I've been lonely. And I think to feel lonely is an actual very natural human emotion that anybody would probably feel if they were in my shoes. Like, I don't think that's narcissistic if somebody's lonely because they don't have any friends. That's a completely normal feeling that, anyway, what the fuck is normal anyways? But I don't think it's being narcissistic to sit here and to be sad and to be lonely because you don't have anybody in your life that you can really relate to, and you're sad because you don't have somebody to relate to. Like, that's really my biggest MO or reason for being sad right now is because of that. It's because, like, even if I were to imagine I still, even like from what I see of the world and people speaking, like I can't even really imagine myself like being friends with anybody because I feel so different. And so, like, that fact that I feel, that truth that I feel is true to me, so it's my fact, in on itself is enough to make me feel sad. And to me, that doesn't feel narcissistic at all, especially when I know I've given so much to my friends. I mean, I have 3 friends in my life that I know I've given over $1,000 to. Not one of my friends have ever given me more than $1,000. So it's like, I know what I've done for my friends, man. You know, I've been given a lot too, but I have been very generous with myself, my energies, and my resources. And I've always been very good about putting myself below so that others can feel better. So it's like when I hear people like Joe Rogan talk about that type of shit in that type of a way to somebody like me, it's like, you know, it hurts a little bit. But, you know, more than that, it's like he's wrong. And, like, I didn't even want to make this video because I really don't even give a shit about, like, trying to prove that I'm right and all this bullshit. But it's more than that. It's the right thing to do. Like, this is part of my duty is to correct you guys. And it's for y'all's duties too. Like, if I'm truly tripping, then please do so and correct me. But in this case, if Joe was referring to me, he's wrong. You know, and I've never even asked people to give my channel a thumbs up or anything. So I have asked for you guys to share the message of starving children, and perhaps there may have been times in the past when I asked you guys to share a particular video because I was talking about starving children, but that's only to spread that message of the starving children. It's not about me. I don't get, that's people that do that I actually find very off-putting. That people that, like, hey, you know, like my channel and share my channel. Like, people tell me to do that type of shit. I think that's wrong. I think that's off-putting. So I don't even do that type of shit. So, but anyway, we all have our own opinion, and Joe's completely entitled to his as I am mine. So this is my truth, and yeah. All right, I love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.